It all started on a seemingly ordinary night. Gimpo Airport is quiet, white light bouncing on the marble floor wet with rain. But in the midst of that atmosphere, cameras began to arrive, lenses pointed at one point of the international arrival gate. Some of the airport staff, who are used to seeing big stars, could be seen whispering to each other. Someone straightened his back. Someone was preparing to record on a personal cell phone. The clock was almost midnight. But the second the automatic door opened, everything changed. Jungkook stepped out. But it's not the Jungkook that people usually see. It is not Jungkook who appears in a boyish style or typical Calvin Klein streetwear. The one that emerged that night was like someone who had just come out of film noir, dark, quiet, mysterious, but endearing to the point of being unreal. And that's where all the media chaos begins. The media began to dissect every frame of his appearance. The appearance may mark a new phase of Jungkook's visual image, especially after a string of events with Calvin Klein in Tokyo that saw his name dominate Japanese and American media. Some fans even compared it to the eras of Seven and Standing Next to You, two periods that featured different sides of Jungkook as a solo artist. But this time, there's something bigger. Many entertainment analysts are beginning to speculate that this new style could signal the beginning of Project 2026, a mysterious project reportedly being prepared with cross-industry cooperation. But for some longtime fans, this moment is not just a visual change. They see it as a symbol of transformation. Jungkook is no longer a 5-year-old teenager debuting under the shadow of his seniors. He is now a 28-year-old man who has conquered the American, European, and Asian stages, as well as becoming the global face of Calvin Klein, and now seems ready for a new, more personal chapter. "You can see it in his eyes," wrote one user of the Coup forum. "He no longer appears to prove who he is. He just lives in his best version." Interestingly, the public reaction did not only come from K-pop fans. Western media outlets such as Vogue, Japan, and Rolling Stone Korea immediately wrote in-depth articles on how Jungkook's latest appearance reflects the global trend of quiet power, an aesthetic where simplicity accentuates authority. They call Jungkook's style a unique combination of minimalist streetwear and the aura of a 2025-era celebrity who doesn't need excessive highlights to stand out. But behind all the praise, there is also a reflective side that leaves many people speechless. Because the performance came amid big rumors about the tension between Jungkook and Hybe, about his artistic independence, and about the career direction he began to control himself. Many consider the choice to perform simply without a staff troupe to be a silent statement that Jungkook does not need a stage to exude his charm. It's the stage itself. One of the most exciting moments occurred when a fan filmed from afar as Jungkook stepped into his car. In the dim light of the lights, he glanced at the camera, smiled briefly, then waved his hand, a small gesture that made the hashtag #WelcomeHomeJungkook top trending in 42 countries. Many wrote, "He just waved, but why does it feel like seeing a movie?" That's the Jungkook effect. He doesn't do much, but the world pauses every time he moves. Where, then, did this appearance come from? What is the result of the direction of Japanese stylists, or a new concept from Calvin Klein that has not yet been announced? Or, as many fans believe, is this just Jungkook being himself without industry filters? No one knows for sure, but one thing is clear: Jungkook's visual transformation has always had meaning. From the blonde hair of the Butter era, to the long hair of Golden, to the mysterious monochrome look of this time, each phase is not just a change of style, but a reflection of its emotional and professional evolution. In several previous interviews, Jungkook has said that he wants to look like the real him, without having to pretend to be the person the public expects him to be. And maybe that night, when he stepped out of the airport door, that's what we saw. The real Jungkook. No longer a young artist looking for a place among the big stars, but someone who has found complete control over his image and identity. And when the media wrote, "The army doesn't believe in Jungkook's change," perhaps it wasn't because they didn't recognize him physically, it was because they realized something deeper, that Jungkook wasn't on the same level as they knew him before. He has stepped into a new dimension of himself, a stronger, more mature version, but still carrying the simple essence that made him beloved from the beginning. That night, under the dark Seoul sky and a thin drizzle dripping over the airport tarmac, Jungkook wasn't just an idol returning home from Japan. It is a symbol of the long journey of an artist who grew up with the pressures of the world, but now stands calmly above it. And for those who saw the video, even if it was only 15 seconds long, there was a strange feeling that arose, a mixture of nostalgia and pride, like watching someone they once knew now become an even bigger figure than they could have imagined. So, when the media wrote the headline, "Army, is it really Jungkook?" perhaps the best answer is, yes, it really is him. But it wasn't Jungkook. This is the new version of Jungkook, more mysterious, more powerful, and more unattainable than ever. And the world, as always, can only stare and wait. Because every time Jungkook changes, the global entertainment industry shakes along. Speculation grew wild after a Japanese entertainment journalist wrote that Jungkook had just attended a mysterious photo shoot in Tokyo before returning to Korea. There is no official information, but he said the shooting location was housed in a historic building that is usually only used for global campaigns. Some blurry photos leaked on the internet show the silhouette of a man in a long black coat under neon lights, and many swear that his posture is exactly that of Jungkook. Fans began to connect the dots. An elegant look at the airport, a calm expression, a necklace never seen before, and the time of her return adjacent to the rumors of the launch of the global edition of the Calvin Klein campaign. It all felt like a puzzle they'd been deliberately left to solve. And amid all those theories, one thing is clear: Jungkook is rewriting the way he appears in public. One Korean fashion editor even referred to Jungkook's appearance at Gimpo that night as a new definition of international aura. According to him, Jungkook's style has moved from idol look to global luxury ambassador presence. In other words, Jungkook is no longer performing like a regular K-pop star. She looks like a figure who has broken through the boundaries of the entertainment industry and is now standing on the stage of the world of fashion and visual arts. Interestingly, ARMY, who is accustomed to Jungkook's casual style, actually looks mixed reactions. Some praised his courage and style development, but others felt he was missing the plain and simple classic side of Jungkook. But if you pay attention, that's exactly where the message is hidden from all of this. Evolution. Jungkook is showing that even appearances can be a form of communication. And like his music, he always conveys something without having to say much. Some fans suspect that the silver necklace she wears is not just an accessory. Some associate it with the concept of duality that often appears in Jungkook's works: dark and light sides, man and artist, past and future. The little symbol that marked it now stands in the middle of a major shift in his career. After the video of his arrival went viral on TikTok and X, fans from different countries began comparing his footage to an old video of Jungkook at the airport. From how to walk, gesture, to how to look down while adjusting the mask, all the same. But the expression of his eyes, different. There is calmness, but also a firmness that is rarely seen. It was as if the man had just decided on something big, and his arrival to Korea was not just a homecoming, but a sign of the beginning of something. It didn't take long for major US media outlets like Variety and WWD to cover. Their titles both contain one dangling word: why? Why does Jungkook look different? Why did he come home alone without a large escort? And why does he seem so mysterious? Some speculate that Jungkook may be preparing for a second global solo project with his American label, while others believe it has something to do with Calvin Klein's global campaign in Shanghai or Tokyo. But whatever the answer, one thing is certain. That simple moment at Gimpo Airport managed to thrill the world just because of one person, one look, and one big unsolved mystery. And maybe that's Jungkook's strength. No need to talk a lot, no need to show up at big events. Simply walking slowly in the middle of the night, with one calm expression and mysterious fashion, the whole world instantly stopped to stare. Because even in his silence, Jungkook still manages to make everyone wonder, who exactly is that man who just returned from Japan? Interestingly, many connect this moment with the early days of Jungkook's career. As a teenager, he was known as a member who was always in the middle of the crowd, full of energy and awkward whenever the camera panned. But now, the figure who appeared at Gimpo Airport that night was no longer the same teenager. He is a 8-year-old man who has conquered the global stage, mastered the American market, and become the face of the world's largest fashion brands. And perhaps, in his silent steps that night, there was a symbol of transformation. From the maknae of BTS to an individual full of power over himself. His arrival also sparked questions among the Korean media. Why didn't HYBE release an official statement? Usually, the schedule of a big artist like Jungkook will be set up with strict protocols. But this time, there was no press release, no announcement of the arrival, not even the agency staff was seen on site. Some journalists claim that HYBE only learned of Jungkook's arrival after the news went viral on social media. That is, these trips are completely private, or perhaps too important to be associated with a public agenda. What, then, is the real purpose of this sudden return? There is a mention that Jungkook went home to attend a closed-door meeting with representatives of global brands based in Seoul. But there are also those who speculate further that Jungkook may be preparing for something much bigger. The long-rumored 2026 personal project in the international music industry. A project that will reportedly involve musicians from America, Japan, and Europe at once, with Jungkook at the center. But beyond all that theory, the one thing that captivates this moment the most is the silence. No words, no greetings, no interaction. Only footsteps in the middle of the night. But the world seemed to stop for a moment to watch it. This is the moment where the public is aware. Even in silence, Jungkook is able to create global waves. And maybe, as many fans say that night, Jungkook didn't just go home. It is marking the beginning of something new. Something that has not yet been revealed, but that has already felt big since his first steps out of the arrival door of Gimpo Airport.